Our homeschool always seems to be shifting. And I like to think of it more in terms of like tweaking things versus changing big things. Hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I'm a mom to 4. I love to homeschool. I love to read good books, and I love to share both of those things on this channel. And so if you also love those things, please consider subscribing. And so for this update video, I want to focus in a bit more on curriculum. So what we've been using, what we haven't been using, now that we are about a third of the way through the school year, I'm going to share all the curriculum with you. But first, I want to share a bit of a light bulb moment that I had a couple months ago that has really helped me in this process of picking and sticking with curriculum and just being really honest with who I am and who my kids are. Like I have shared on this channel before, I love Charlotte Mason. I love classical homeschool styles, and I have found a lot of inspiration via podcast or books or whatnot from people like Julie Bogart, so Brave Writer, or Susan Weisbauer, so The Well-Trained Mind, and a lot of homeschool moms on YouTube, so Julie off of the Krake family, I think is how you say it, Emily Cook from Build Your Library, so she's over at ARG Schooling. I have a huge list of places I pull inspiration and encouragement from, but I'm struggling with language arts. I'm okay with phonics and handwriting. Those seem to be going okay. It's really kind of the rest of it. So narration, which I shared in my last update video, that's still a struggle. So I've been wanting to incorporate more narration and more copy work. And I do a little bit, but I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. I feel like it's very haphazard. And I'm not even trying to do any grammar or any composition writing, which for the most part I'm okay with because he is still in first grade. But I just feel a little bit lost. Enter light bulb moment. So I just was thinking, I'm like, what am I good at? I am good and naturally talented at science, at math. I have always struggled with language arts. Spelling, I'm terrible at it. If I didn't have spell checker, it would be atrocious. Writing, grammar, lit, I have always been really unsure of myself in all of those different areas. And I'm realizing as I'm homeschooling that those are the areas I probably need the most help with. So when it comes back to my problem with language arts, I was looking at the curriculum I have, and there is some that's working. So logic of English is working great, as well as handwriting. Handwriting is pretty simple, so we'll just kind of toss that back out. But logic of English, so that's phonics. Teaching reading, that's not easy. The reason I think logic of English is going well for me is because it holds my hand. It's a curriculum that really holds my hand. It's scripted. It's very step-by-step. These are your expectations. You give them assessments, and there's even like a list of you should be seeing this, and if you don't, go back and practice more of this. So it really holds my hand. It doesn't leave it very wishy-washy or gray. It's very black and white. And so I realized that's working really well for me because I need the confidence in that program because I don't have the confidence in myself. So I just kind of went back to the drawing board. I looked at what I had, and I realized I need a curriculum that holds my hand in those areas that I am weak in, those areas that I don't feel very confident in. Areas such as grammar, literature analysis, composition or writing, early writing, stuff like that. Because what I was finding is that I'm reading all of these books and listening to these people talk about early education, and what they say really resonates with me. Stuff like just read good books and your kids will pick up the grammar and the sentence structure just from hearing it, hearing lots and lots of good books. Or use copy work to teach grammar. So you pick these sentences and then you notice all these things, like then you can talk about verb tenses, or then you can talk about capitalization or things like that. Or even just kind of narration sets the stage for writing. So all of these ideas are fantastic and I really can get behind them and I really like them. It just requires, I think, a little bit more skill on my part to pick out those verb tenses, to notice what I could pull out and have good discussions with my kids about the English language and how to teach them that from good books. But I was finding myself not being able to do that. I know I should be able to do this. I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to draw their attention to. I don't know how to teach it because I just lack in those areas. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's just me being honest with myself. And so I realized I can't quite hold to that Charlotte Mason, I think, is more where I'm drawing some of these ideas from. Idea of it kind of coming naturally, or even like an unschooling where It will come. You just have to trust the process, which I can get behind that. I just don't feel like I am a good enough scaffold to give them the process, if that makes sense. Like, I don't have those skills naturally to interject that kind of teaching in my day-to-day. And so I feel like I was overwhelmed and feeling inadequate. And so that's fine. I just need to be honest with myself and figure out a curriculum that does help me help them. And I don't feel like this across the board, obviously. Like, I feel more than capable and confident to write and design my own science curriculum to give to the kids, and even history, which isn't necessarily my forte. It kind of feels a little bit like science in the way you can organize it and teach it. And so that just doesn't bother me. So I would say, update-wise, that's kind of the big update. I hope that makes sense. I hope some of you resonate with that. Please let me know if you do. Otherwise, I'm gonna move on to curriculum. I'm gonna start with what's not working because it kind of tags with what I was just talking about. A couple things that just haven't worked. Either I haven't picked it up because I don't feel confident enough to use it, or it's just not the right fit. So first, Jot It Down by Brave Writer. I love the concept of this curriculum and it's very exciting to me, but I just am wallowing in not knowing how to start. I can't quite get behind it all, and it makes me a little paralyzed. So I just haven't used it. But I want to do a little something with writing in these early years. Not like a ton, because they're really working on reading and I'm good with that. But I want to do a little bit, and I feel like I haven't been because I'm not confident enough in using Jot It Down. There are two I'm not really using very well are first language lessons for the well-trained mind and writing with ease. And really, I don't think I have too much of a problem with first language lessons. It's more writing with ease. I got the one where you can create your own writing program. So it wasn't the like volume 1, 2, 3, and 4. It wasn't that. It was the little book where you get to write your own program based on your read alouds in which you're reading history and science and literature. And I really liked that idea. Again, I just didn't have the confidence to pick a good passage or know what good questions to ask them or how to draw narration out of them, which I'm still interested in narration. I'm still interested in establishing those big conversations with my kids. I just didn't use this program, or I kept trying and I just didn't know how to do it. It just didn't fit very well with me. Next couple things are, I think my kids were a little too young. So the first is Laying Down the Rails by Charlotte Mason, the character habit forming curriculum, which I shared about this when I talked about my character curriculum. So I will link that above. I also shared this in that video, which was, I just think my kids were a little too young. I didn't know how to incorporate the Bible stories very well into the character formation, and I found using something like Character First Education was just more straightforward, and maybe because it just had a better plan for me. So that one didn't quite work. And then a couple other resources from our morning time, which includes a missionary stories book and a hymn book. And I think for those, it was just my kids are a little too young and my twins are a little too distracting, so we have a shorter amount of time that we can get our morning time done, and those just didn't spark their interest, so I've ended up dropping those. Another curriculum that didn't work was elemental science. And again, I talked about this in my last update and a bit in my human body unit study, which I'll link above as well. There was just a little too much narration and things like that. And so I'm still on the fence on science. So I will take any recommendations. I'm leaning towards potentially trying out Real Science Odyssey or continuing to make my own unit studies. I'm just not sure. But that one it just didn't work, unfortunately. I really, really was excited about it. The only thing that really isn't working, which is just dawning on me, is our scripture memory. So we've been using the Simply Charlotte Mason method of scripture memory with a memory box, and you move the cards kind of to different weeks. I was just finding either that's the age of my kids, or I'm just not doing a very good job of inspiring them to memorize it, but we would read it and they would not retain anything. And it's hard when I hear advice, well, the best advice is just keep reading it and they'll eventually get it. And I'm like, they're still not getting it. And so we've done like one verse in 12 weeks. And I just was like, I'm just not sure if this is a good fit for us or if I'm not good at facilitating this. So I have a different idea for memory, which I'll share in just a bit. So that one didn't work. The next curriculum that I'm not using a ton, but I'm not going to ditch, is Exploring Nature with Children. I just haven't had the time. It's just been a busy fall with trying to move and all of these things that we've done. Nature study, we've gone out maybe once a month, which has been great, but it has been really not structured. And again, I still think my kids are maybe a little young for that program. So I'm waiting on it, and I'm probably just keep trying to do nature stuff. I still love the idea of nature, especially about once a month. So I'd say those are the handful of curriculum that really hasn't worked for various reasons that I've shared, and that's okay. You know, some of it I will hold on to and come back to. Others, it's okay, I'll just try something else. As for the curriculum that has worked or that we are planning on using going forward, Logic of English, awesome. I have loved Logic of English. It's been a good hit. We're actually taking a bit of a break for my son because it seems to be going a bit fast for him. We're still in Foundations C. What we've done is moved him into Explode the Code 2, mostly because things are a little stressful around here as we're getting ready to move, and they feel it and they push back a little bit more on school. And I don't want to push him on the program that probably causes him the most challenge, which is Logic of English. So I'm just using Explode the Code to practice. We're going through high frequency words or trying to add some sight words and things like that. But I would say I'm very happy with Logic of English. And same with my daughter. I tried to start her with Foundations A and she just wasn't quite there. So we're gonna start again in January is my plan. So definitely keeping that, love it. Math, awesome. Singapore math is great. I am finishing up Dimensions with my son. I thought of skipping forward straight to primary, but he just needed me to finish up some of those key concepts, and we'll get to primary here in a couple weeks. And then I will get a review out to you guys. I feel so bad about saying that, but I want to do a good job. I don't want to just review a curriculum I haven't used. I want to be in it for a while so I can have something good and intelligent to share with you. And so that will come, I promise, I promise. Yeah, so back to Logic of English. With Logic of English, the other language arts piece I have is Lightning Literature, which I just did an unboxing a couple days ago, so you can go check that out if you want. And so these two programs will basically cover language arts for my son. Logic of English carries the phonics and spelling. Lightning Literature carries literature, grammar, and early composition. And then between the two programs, I feel like we'll get enough handwriting. If not, I do have just a Dunilian handwriting book we can pull out if we're not getting as much practice with handwriting. But I think that will cover it, just those two. So that's my plan for language arts. Science, like I just said, potentially Real Science Odyssey or unit studies, not sure. Memory work. So I have always been drawn to memory work. We toured a classical conversations group because I'm drawn to the memory work, maybe a little bit more than I'm drawn to the community, although that sounds really good too. But the memory work. And so what I decided to do though, is I think I'm gonna purchase the Claritas Press memory work because it's on a 4-year history cycle. We're using Story of the World come January. And so that will all mesh up. And so I'm really excited because that also has some extra stuff like scripture and hymns and things added into it. So we can get some of our scripture memory in while using our memory work. And that comes with, I think, an online subscription. So I can play it off of the Roku every morning and we can get the songs and all the memory work that way. So I think that will help hold my hand on memory work. That's my hopes. So Claritas Press, I'm excited about that. If anybody's interested in that program, let me know. And when I get it and get it organized, I can get a video up to you. Other curriculum that's great and we're keeping is the Bible. We do Theology book and Jesus Storybook Bible, still great. Artistic Pursuits has been going awesome. Poetry is fun. We do like a poetry tea time every once in a while, great. And then history, we will be starting in January with Story of the World. So yeah, that's where we're at. I think I have covered all of the different subjects and curriculum that we have used. If not, if I have forgotten something that you are following my channel for, let me know below. And otherwise, let me know your thoughts on all of this. It's a good update. I feel really energized by kind of having that light bulb moment of I just need to play into my strengths and get help with my weaknesses is the best way to sum it up. So if anybody else is feeling that way, please comment below and we can support each other on this. And otherwise, that is what I have for this update video. I hope you are all doing well. Please consider subscribing and liking the video if you like what you see. And otherwise, I will see you in the next homeschool video. All right, have a wonderful day.